How you going, people? Oh shit. These four guys. This is a good one. Okay, so let me go down here and read a couple of this here on Sucker and Succotash. What do we got here? Body cam footage shootout. Two officers, Nathaniel, 29, of Baltimore, shot and injured officer. Okay, so Nathaniel was already been in prison like twice. You can read all this if you want. Uh, Again, thanks to police activity for putting all this out. So he's already been in prison a couple times for murder. He's been out through our revolving door because we need to embrace diversity. We need to have tolerance. So we keep letting these murderers and killers and drug dealers and teens going to doctor school out of prison. And then when they kill cops and they get in more shootings and they make a bunch of victims, people are shocked. And then, we're accused for blaming them when it's not their fault. But I digress. Let's look at these cops. Shit hits the fan quick. One of them gets shot. He's shot in a bulletproof vest. But even if you're shot in a bulletproof vest, you still have, the velocity of a bullet, 1,300 feet per second, and whatever size bullet, whether it's a 100, 200 grain bullet, hitting you, even though it hits the vest, you normally get a bruise. Sometimes you can even get a broken rib. The impact is pretty good. We shot some vest on chairs with different bullets, and the heavier bullets would knock the chair over. Sometimes the chair wouldn't even get knocked over. So you look, oh, it's not that bad. But when you put it against a body and then you get shot, the body takes some of that trauma. So it's not like a chair to where it just dissipates and it may not knock it over. It still hurts. So this cop is probably in a little bit of pain. He's in fight or flight. It's funny how these two cops get into argument on what to do and who's in charge, and they're both now these both cops are what I consider young cops. One's got 5 years on the street, one's got 3 years. One guy kind of panics, one guy kind of gets irritated on the radio, which I've done a few times. When you get pissed off, dispatch can't hear you, people are walking on you, people are saying shit they don't need to say. I'm trying to get out and what is critical kind of evolving situation, and you're being covered, so sometimes you get irritated, go get off the damn radio and let me talk. So and I'm sure sometimes when I was putting out shit, someone else might have been thinking that. But, I mean, that just happens. So, this guy, I don't think they have a good location because they run around and try to find their location. So, unfortunately, when you're working large areas and you get assigned to different beats, or you're in a task force and you work kind of unknown areas, a lot of times you get caught up and you do a traffic stop, you follow, you make a 2 turns, and next thing you know, you don't see a street sign and you don't know where you're at. So, for a cop not to know where he's at, I know there's going to be experts out there. A cop should always know where he's at. They need more training. They need to know. Look, even now it's probably less because they have GPS and stuff. They don't know where they're at. But it's not uncommon for cops to get caught up in a crisis and not know their exact location. They know where they last looked at a street sign, which may be a block or so away or around the corner, but it doesn't give responding officers a good location. So this guy has to actually run and ask somebody where he's at. And I remember one time I was running plates while I was chasing some dude through a neighborhood because I didn't have a clue. I've been chasing this guy for 5 minutes and we're still jumping fences and we're cutting through yards and we're not going by any street signs because street signs are on the corner of the streets. So I'm like running license plates as I'm running in people's front yard. I'm like, tag this plate, blah, 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 blah. I said, whatever address it comes back to, that's where I'm at. And I was running plates as I was running because I had no other way. I heard the chopper in the air, but I'm running in the middle of Sacramento and I'm like, shit, where am I? I don't even freaking know. And so shit happens. I get it. I'm going to crack on them on kind of what they could do better, but I'm not saying that I would be perfect in this and I would have done it 100% better, and I've never made these mistakes. All right, so let's take a look at it. It's quiet and then shit hits the fan. So this guy actually runs away from the scene. I'm not sure what he's doing, whether he's thinking I'm looking for a street sign. I don't think he's running off from his partner, but it just confused me when I'm like, why is he running down this damn alley? And the only thing I can think of is he went in a panic, he got rounds off, and he's trying to figure out when he's calling out, he's finally realizing in a split second, shit, I don't know what street I'm on. Let me run to the corner and see if I can see a street sign. And I think that's why he ran this way. I don't think he was abandoning his partner, but people can see it the way they want. So now he's running back to his partner. Man, these dudes put some rounds off, let me tell you. Now, this guy is still shooting, and this guy has had time to run from the car, run all the way down the street, turn around and come back, reload, and still shoot. So, now, this guy shooting is the one that got shot, so I can understand why he's doing a mag dump. He doesn't know if he's bleeding out. He doesn't know if he's going to pass out. His heart rate's up. He's probably getting a little dizzy. He's got tunnel vision. He knows he's been shot. He feels the pain. He doesn't know if he's bleeding. He doesn't know if he's mortally wounded, and he may die or bleed out in the next 30 seconds. So he is dumping off as many rounds as he can because he wants to make damn sure if he goes down, this guy can't get up and finish him off. So this guy's mag dump to me and reload and firing a multitude of rounds, I'm okay with, because in his mind, I know what he's thinking and what he's going through. Therefore, I think it's justified and it's reasonable for someone in that situation. Now, of course, the lawyers and the judges and the people on the jury and the defense and everybody watching a video will say, well, he shouldn't have done that. He should have more training, and he should be able to control his emotions, and he should, well, that's because you're an idiot and you've never been there. So you can say all that, but I'm telling you, this guy is freaking thinks he's been shot, thinks he might die, and he is dumping every round he can. He's got to make damn sure this guy doesn't get up if he goes down. That's what I believe. He's running back down the alley again.
Man, you good, bro? Humpy, what the fuck? I'm gonna get cover down.
So this guy is standing in the middle of the area, and he's telling him to take cover. He's already dumped several rounds into this guy, probably several hundred rounds. Rick, you can't shoot a he shot a lot of rounds at this dude. I'm thinking at least 2 mags, if not 3. But anyway, so this guy is trying to pull him to cover, and he's telling him to get to cover. They're both trying to be in charge. They're both trying to get each other safety. They're both trying to pull from their minimum training, and I say minimum 3 to 5 years. You know, for a rookie, this guy's a veteran. You know, somebody just got on the streets 2 months ago. This guy's got 5 years on. He's like God. He's been there and done that. But to somebody who's done this for 20 years, this guy's still kind of wet behind the ears a little bit, and 5 years isn't enough to learn. Again, there can be 5 years of sitting behind a desk, or there can be 5 years of working the hood and fighting for your life every night. Very different 5 years. So I don't know how these guys got their 3 or 5 years, but they're both kind of, it's kind of funny. They're both trying to do the right thing, but they're kind of working against each other.
Cover down. Lippy, get back, bro. He's down. He's down, Lippy. He's moving. Get cover.
See, this guy is in total, I've been shot, he's moving, get down, he's just in panic mode, and I totally understand that. I get it. I'm not saying it's 100% right. I'm not saying he couldn't have done it better, but I get he was just shot in the freaking chest, people. He's lucky his vest worked. He doesn't know if this guy had some, you know, whatever Teflon-coated super high-speed Superman bullet that goes through it. Whatever. I mean, the cops are always getting updates and officer safety warnings that they got a new bullet and they got a new gun and they got a new vest to feeding, and the crooks are training this. So they're always feeding cops paranoia crap to keep them, so they want to make sure that they're safe out there and they don't take things for granted and they don't get relaxed. So they're always pumping us with these mandatory alerts. Every time a cop finds something, they send it out to every agency. So I understand why this guy's like, he's moving, don't get my car, shit, I'm bleeding out of it. And shit's happening very fast. I get it, people. I wish other people would understand it and get it.
Cover down. Bro, are you good? Camera's off. Are you good? I'm good. We're around the corner from Washington. We need units. Officer hit.
You can tell this guy is, we're around the corner. We need you, officer. His mind is working faster than his words, so it seems like he's skipping. It seems like he's coming out with, we're around, and we need. He's processing more from it. Remember, you can think like 5,000 words a minute or something, but you can only speak a lot less than that. I forgot the exact numbers. I covered in another video. So the mind works and processes, especially when it goes into fight or flight like this, and all the adrenaline pump and emotion and blood pressure and heart rate and blood flow, and so all this is happening very quickly. And it may sound like this guy doesn't even know what he's doing, and he's just rattling and he's skipping, he's not being clear. Well, no shit. He's in the middle of a fight or flight. He thinks his partner been shot. He's panicking. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if there's other people. He doesn't know if the family's going to start running out. He's probably in the hood. It looks like he's in some sort of government housing, to protect the people housing area. So, it's not uncommon for crowds to gather very quickly and start either throwing bottles or yelling, "You're racist," or "You killed my cousin," or "That's Leroy and I loved him, and why are you shooting him, you mean white piece of crap," whatever. So, these guys are like, shit, we need more units here. We still don't even have this lockdown, and we're still not safe, and things are happening. And we're only 58 seconds in the video. And it looks like the guy's head's up. Out of all those rounds shot, the guy still looks like he's on the one knee, and the cop is still chasing him and pointing at him. Why? The cop that got shot is 100% tunnel vision. His eyes have locked on the threat. He's been shot. This guy's got a gun. He's fired numerous rounds. He is not going to take his freaking eyes off this guy for nothing. That's why you want to if you had more units here, you'd want to get this guy. Put your gun away. Distract him. Dude, we got it. We got to get you out of here. Come on, let's go. You're hurt. We got to check you for other wounds. Come on. We need to detach him from this tunnel vision of fight or flight locked onto the suspect. And that's very critical, and we were just getting training in that when I was working, and I would think it would have progressed more. When you're in these fight or flights, somebody has to keep their head and pull the guy that was directly involved. And I've said this a million times. When we were in big pursuits where we were chasing them for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and we're all jacked up, and we've ran cars off the road, and we've lost a couple cop cars in the pursuit, and this guy's killed, and we just want to catch this dude, and we're going to beat his ass when we catch him, and we get all locked into it, we normally would say whoever was chasing, whoever primary, they do not handle or transport the suspect because he's too emotionally attached. And it's almost like a bonding. It's kind of like the Stockholm Syndrome I've talked about before, where the people who were taken hostage in Stockholm, a bank was robbed, and they call it the Stockholm Syndrome, and actually a couple of victims end up marrying the bank robbers because they got so emotionally attached to these people who had control of their lives, who could have killed them, and the bank robbers didn't kill them. They bonded, they fell in love, they end up getting married, and it's called the Stockholm Syndrome. Well, that kind of is the same type of syndrome that happens when a cop fights for his life and is attached with somebody trying to kill them. And you don't want to be able to go from this guy tried to kill me and I almost had to kill him, or I had to kill him, or I tried to kill him to save my life, to now, let me put the handcuffs on you, kind citizen, and let me transport you to the jail and treat you like a kind tax-paying citizen, because that's what I am, a public servant. It just doesn't work that way, people. So the guy that shot is pretty much focused on the bad guy. This guy is on the radio. They're both wondering, we've had cops shot, officers down. Where the hell is our backup? Why don't we hear sirens? Why aren't people here? Well, I'll tell you why. One, you're yelling on the radio. Maybe they don't know. Two, they're probably heading that way, but you didn't give a really good exact location. And we're only talking a minute and 12 seconds for this whole video so far. And you've probably only called for cover maybe 30 seconds ago. But as you can tell, as I'm telling you what's going through their mind and processing all this, I've taken a long time to do it. I mean, that's kind of what happens on the instant. You're expecting things to happen a lot quicker because you've processed at 5,000 words or 5,000 thoughts a second or a minute, that you've processed all this, and you're like, why the hell isn't my cover here? Why don't I hear sirens? Why haven't people gotten here? We've been fighting this guy for 15 minutes. Remember, a 2-minute fight, usually when you're done, you're like, damn, it feels like I was fighting him for 30 minutes when it was only a 30-second fight because you're so tired. People that have never been in a fight don't understand that. But if you've been in a fight, you'll understand it.
We have one suspect down. Phil, bro. I'm good. Stop. I'm good.
So now he's like, bro, and they're both breathing hard, and they're both kind of lost on what to do. Now you notice they're both turning their back on the suspect. They have refocused on, he's kind of getting probably a little dizzy. He's leaning against the car. He's sucking in oxygen. His body's burning up oxygen so much because everything's gone to his large muscle groups. So he might feel a little lightheaded. Sometimes you get really excited real quick. You get a little lightheaded. He may be seeing stars. Might have some auditory exclusion or ringing in his ears from all the shooting. He's probably got some tremors now. The adrenaline's wearing. So he's trying to suck in air, and now his partner's like, shit, I got to check you to see if I got to give first aid. I saw you get shot. I saw you go down. I got to see if you're bleeding now. And this is a minute and 20 seconds later. Now they're starting to take care of each other. And somebody, some freaking know-it-all, video trained expert is going to come here and tell them how they should have never turned their back on a suspect, and they should have handcuffed the suspect, and they should have zip tied his feet, and they should have secured the gun that the suspect had, and this is very bad officer safety because they're taking care of each other. Well, you know what? Shit happens.
I'm good. Stop. No, my arm. Put your shit away. It's okay. No. It's okay. Fuck. It's okay. Let me get a freaking medic.
I love this guy, man. He tried to hold it together so good. Rick, you shouldn't be laughing there. Dude, that was, I totally get where he's coming from, and it just hits home, so it's very funny to me, and it's going to be funny to other officers who's been here. It's like, God damn it, I'm trying to frickin' stay calm. I told you assholes we need cover, and now you're asking for the unit that called for freaking help? Just give me some damn units! And he just goes off. I think it's classical. Let's listen to this again.
Let me get a freaking medic. Good. Get your shit away right now. Dude, get off. Get off. Look at me. Get off. Phil. I'm good. Put it away. I'm good, fam. I'm good. Phil, stop. I'm good.
So this guy is recognizing that this guy is a little in shock. He wants to move around. He's sticking his chest out. He's breathing hard. He said, dude, put your gun away. He's trying to pull this guy back to reality. He's trying to get him out of fight or flight mode. These guys are trying to do the right thing, and they got the right concept, which tells me they've had a little bit of training in this. But when you first experience it, your training doesn't always work like they tell you it will in training. Now, the next time these guys get shot or get an incident, they're going to do better because they have actual experience in it. So don't be too hard on these guys. I know I'm going to have the cop haters. These cops suck. They don't know what they're doing. They turn their back. They're going to come here and pick this apart. And again, was it perfect? No. You know, you can't make perfection out of a shitstorm. You just can't do it. You do the best you can. You crisis management. You push through, you try to resort back to your training, you try to keep it together, but when this guy gets an order, let me get a freaking medic! I was busting up. I'm sorry, man. Some cop's going to be hating on me because I'm laughing at him.
Stop. I'm good. Man, what's this street, please? What's this street? Yes, we need a street. What's this?
See, he's still asking. They do not know where they're at. And again, we're only a minute and 48 seconds into this. He's asking maybe a friend, maybe not a friend. I've had people tell me the wrong address. When I've panicked like this and asked somebody, they've given me the wrong street, and I put it out. And they knew I wasn't there because of other things that I've called out, and they're like, that's not where you're at. And I'm like, what? What the fuck? Freaking idiot gave me, and, you know, that person disappeared. So asking the public, because you don't know if they're friend or foe, for your location is not a good plan. But when it's all you got to use what you got. This guy is asking and hoping he gets a better location. Could this have been prevented if they know? Yeah, FM butts and coconuts. Again, there were shots fired in the area. They might have saw this dude run. They went, shit, there he is. Let's go. So they were focusing on him and not focusing on street signs. And they went through a couple turns, and now they don't know exactly where they're at. And in this building, just from the video, all the buildings kind of look the same. There's, there's not numbers posted. They never mark areas for cops in these shitholes. I don't know what it is. It's a conspiracy against cops. We can never get in a shithole and look around and figure out where we're at. You either got to know where you're at, because if you try to wait and look around and try to figure it out, it never works out well.
This street. What's this street? 800 Vine. 800 Vine. What block is this?
Can you please tell me where you got all my nephews is out here?
Ma'am, what is this street? 800 Vine to Fremont. We need units, please.
Okay, so he's still trying to come back. The guy's on the ground, and I know the people are going to be like, why aren't they giving guy aid? Why aren't they? The guy just tried to shoot you. Look, I am not giving aid to somebody trying to kill you is not my priority. I know you freaking idiots who live in liberal la-la land think that the cops should be worried about people that are trying to kill them more than they are themselves, but it just ain't so. I don't care what the government tells you. I don't care what they tell you. They're training cops. It's survival of the fittest, and you have to survive in order to do anything. Cops look out for number one. If you think they're going to look out for you, you're wrong. I don't care if you're a good guy or a bad guy. If it's between me or you, it's going to be you. That's the way most people are. That's the way most cops are. I'm sorry. It's reality. I know it'd be nice if I could give you all freaking pink ice cream cones and tell you everything's great and we just hug each other and fly a rainbow flag and all the problems will be solved, but it just ain't in Realville. All right? Freaking idiots come here.
Officers are okay. Let's
Stay,
get
please. Just back up. Just back up.
Need more units down here. Make it 13.
Stop. They're coming. Stop.
Okay, 2 minutes in now, 2 minutes and 19 seconds, and you notice the crowd is starting to gather. The community is showing up before the government. Don't worry, government's here to help. Don't worry, give up your guns because government will save you. Government can't save other government. These guys are out here on their own, but give up your guns, people. You'll be safe. Government will protect you.
Phil, stop. Are you hit?
I'm good. My arm's fucked.
Okay, but listen. Is it through?
No.
Phil,
Okay, so he's saying my arm is, I don't know if he got hit. He might have ran into something. Sometimes when you're dodging, when somebody pulls out a weapon or something, you start backtracking. I did another video where a dude fell down a ramp. I'm going to post it here pretty quick. I don't know if I'll post it before or after this one. But he backs up in a ditch and falls backwards, and his feet go straight up in the air. So a lot of times when somebody pulls a knife or a gun and you start trying to create emergency distance very quickly and you're backpedaling at full speed and you run into a door jamb or a doorknob or a freaking pointed lamp that you didn't see or the corner of a dresser and it hits you right in the back or it stabs you in your shoulder and you're like, shit, and you can't really react to it because you're focusing on the threat, you don't feel it till things calm down. So I don't know if this guy where he got shot, if it broke a rib and that's why his arm's hurting. I don't know if he ran so fast that he ran into a street pole and he might have dislocated his shoulder. I don't know if he fell and hurt his shoulder, but he's complaining of his shoulder, and I think this arm seems a little stiffer than the other one from what I'm looking at. But we don't know. But he's still in pain, and the pain is going to get more because he went through fight or flight, and it kind of dulled his pain response. So when you get shot or hurt, you can still continue to fight. That's part of the fight or flight protection mechanism that goes through the body. So now as it starts wearing down, the pain gets more, and he's starting to feel it more.
Solid. I'm good. Check him. Get that gun away. Get that fucking gun away. He's still breathing.
These guys are killing me. I'm good, man. I'm good. My arm hurts. I'm good. Get that fucking gun. Watch this guy. I'm good, man. My arm hurts. Get that gun. They're jumping around. People will see this that don't understand as these guys aren't trained. They're not professional. They don't know what they're doing. This is what happens in crisis, people. You deal with it. And the people that want to judge and say these guys are wrong, bad, and not trained, and they just don't get it. They've never been in these shitstorms.
Get away.
Phil, it's on the back of the car. Phil, get in the car right now.
So they run over to get the gun. This guy comes over to get involved. His partner's like, dude, man, you've been shot. You're hurt. Just chill. So again, for two guys to manage this, it just doesn't work out. You need other people. You need level heads. You need people who haven't just fired their gun and is worried about the legal battle to come and the fight or flight and their legal survival, and are they going to lose their job, and are they going home tonight, and oh my God, we freaking lived, we made it, we want to jump and high five and say, woohoo, we made it, brother. That's what you want to do, and if you do it, the public will be like, man, they're rejoicing because they killed somebody, and they're mean, evil people, and that's what they wanted. That's not what it is. When you survive a life or death situation, you celebrate. You feel an exhilaration that is hard to explain. And when you can't express that and you're trying to suppress and hold that emotion in, you get inconsistent behavior, which you're seeing here. You get sporadic, the mind jumps around, and it doesn't seem like you're focused, and it seems like you're scatterbrained. That's all normal. And unfortunately, man, I wish people would get it. And I think the guys who have been watching me for a while kind of see it. And the more I explain it, the more you see it in action, the clearer it becomes.
I'm driving your shot.
Good. No. Let the medic get here. I'm good. Let the medic get here. Hey. I'm good.
Phil,
I'm good. I'm good.
Phil, listen to me.
Good commercial for Point Blank body armor. This is brought to you by Point Blank, saving officers daily from bad guys shooting at them, from doctors going to doctor school, pulling guns.
I'm good. Hey, get her back. Get her back. Everyone get back.
So they're trying to control the scene. They're trying to take care of each other. They're trying to treat your injuries. They're trying to keep people from backing up. Because if they turn their back on this guy for too long, when you're in a hood like this, when you see these black bars and buildings look the same, when you're in a hood like this, guns disappear, knives disappear, and dope disappears. If you don't keep your eye on the suspect and the evidence, the shit will disappear. Well, when you're running around trying to give first aid, you're trying to find out where you are, you're trying to call in for cover, and you're trying to keep people out of your area, shit disappears. And luckily, with video cameras now, it helps a little bit, but before video cameras came out, if you lost evidence and you shot somebody, you look like you were lying, and you look like you were making it up. Very high intensity situation. This is a great learning tool. This is a great education video. So many lessons to be learned. Argue it out in the comments. You can go ahead and hate on the cops and say, I wish they were dead, whatever. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to reach those people who have their minds made up. I'm trying to reach reasonable people who can understand and maybe put themselves in cop shoes and see that it's not just let's go to the donut shop and eat, although a lot of cops do that, and that's all they do. Sometimes there is this. Does that mean you should support all cops all the time? No. Does it mean you should hate all cops all the time? No. Okay? With more information, you should change your opinion. Hopefully this gives you more information, and we'll go ahead and end that there. I'll put a link to it. Again, thanks for police activity for putting this up, and we'll call that a day. I got to end it with a tribute to that one officer. Okay, people. So we'll end that there. And this is the end of the video, damn it! I love that guy.